What's up guys, Just Messi here and welcome to a brand new video and welcome to your daily dose of transfer gossip. And today it's going to be Friday the 16th of June and in regards to confirmed transfers, it's been quite a busy day, but one team in particular have gone in. But of course we'll get into that in just a moment. So before we get started, as always you can show your support by leaving a like rating, that'd be absolutely awesome. Remember, 1,000 likes is the target for today's video. If you're new to my channel, make sure to click the subscribe button for daily FIFA content and press the notifications tab next to it to be notified whenever I upload a video. If you missed yesterday's video, it'll be down below in the description box. And today's question of the day is it going to be, what game are you looking forward to the most this year? And also just a reminder for those interested, today or tonight around 5 PM UK time I believe is the start of the European Under-21 Championship. There are a lot of very good players to watch out for in that tournament itself, and also starting tomorrow I think it is on Saturday, it's the Confederations Cup, so still a couple of weeks of international football to look forward to. But now let's jump into confirmed deals. The very first player is a Belgian left winger called Theo Bongonda going to Turkey this time for Trabzonspor from Celta Vigo. It seems to be a loan deal, the obligation to buy, and that fee apparently is just short of £3 million at 2.98. Next up we go on to the second confirmed one, and that is Marcao going to Lyon from Benfica for a fee. It's rumored to be about 4.5 million euros. I'm not sure how much it is in pounds, but it's a 4-year contract. And Lyon got that business done very quickly because I'm pretty sure that rumour only started yesterday. And they've got a player that's not on FIFA Ultimate Team just yet, and there's a guy called William going from Internacional in Brazil to Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. It's an undisclosed fee, but a 5-year contract. And I've got a big one in the Premier League, that's going to be Harry Maguire, completely switched to Leicester for £17 million on a 5-year contract from Hull City. And despite them getting relegated, Harry Maguire was a standout player in that Hull City team. It's a big fee of £17 million. You also got to remember, I think every single team in the Premier League earned over £100 million last season alone from TV rights. In the papers, a lot of teams were linked to Maguire last couple of weeks or so, and I think Tottenham were actually one of those. Next up we move on to Davy Klaassen going to Everton from Ajax for a fee of €27 million or £23.6 million. Everton got the deal done very quickly, and one thing that's quite nice to see is during the tweet to announce Klaassen, they also mentioned the official fee for him. So like I said before, €27 million on a 5-year contract. A lot of Everton fans on Twitter think it's a replacement for Ross Barkley, but for now, we'll have to wait and see. That wasn't the only player signed yesterday, they also spent £30 million on Jordan Pickford. They did reach an official agreement a few days ago, but of course it was an international duty, and I believe he's actually going to Under-21 Championships with England today. And the fee broken down is £30 million total, but £22 million up front with £8 million additional fees. There's also a 5-year contract, the same as Klaassen. And there was a fair amount of debate on Twitter, people saying is £30 million too much for Jordan Pickford? The way I look at it personally is the fact that he's potentially the new England #1 goalkeeper in the future, and because he's still only 23 years old potentially, you can get at least like 4 or 5 years minimum at that one club. And that's why I think in this market, it's very clever business from Everton. But now, we've got one more confirmed on today, it's a managerial change, and that is for Leeds United, and that is going to Thomas Christiansen joining the club as manager after Gary Monk. And now they can try and push on for next season and start improving their team. But now, let's jump on to potential deals. The very first player is Lazar Markovic from Liverpool. According to multiple different sources today, Watford have expressed an interest in the winger, and Liverpool is still hoping to get back most of the £20 million they paid for him back in 2014. A big reason he might go to Watford is because he'd be reunited with former coach Marco Silva. And Marco Silva was the one that brought him to Hull City in the first place on loan last season, where I believe he actually done a fairly good job for himself. Watford aren't the only team interested though, because Zenit Petersburg in Russia are also tracking the player, and Liverpool have been contacted by several clubs in Portugal and Italy. And the next 3 or 4 players are Monaco players potentially leaving the club this summer. The very first one is a Bakayoko linked to Chelsea, according to The Keep. Chelsea and Monaco's talks for Bakayoko are dragging on. Chelsea have offered €30 million, but Monaco want up to 50. And this story could well tie in with something towards the end of the video, which you'll probably notice when we get to it. But Bakayoko, last week it looked like he was destined to go to Chelsea, but now it potentially could break down. And some of the rumours last week suggested Monaco could try and get a few players in the deal also. Next up we go on to Nabil Diarra, a right-sided player for Monaco. This article does say Monaco have agreed a deal to sell utility man and right-sided player Nabil Diarra to Fenerbahce in Turkey. The deal is believed to be worth around €3 million, and Diarra will undergo a medical in Istanbul tomorrow after arriving in Turkey tonight. And because of the timing of this video, there's been a medical today and he arrived last night. And now another Monaco player linked to a move away is going to be Jermaine. I'm not sure how you say his name, but apparently Marseille have reached an agreement in principle with Monaco for the forward. And that is according to L'Équipe, and it goes on by saying there are 1 or 2 more details to be ironed out, but a deal is now expected to be closed for between €8 million and €10 million for the 27-year-old. Jermaine has already reached a provisional 4-year contract agreement with the club, but is now currently on holiday and it may take some time for the deal to become official. And next up, according to Foot Mercato, several Premier League sides, notably Newcastle United, have inquired for Valencia central defender Abdennour. Everton have also placed Abdennour on their list of potential centre-backs, but pursuing Burnley's Michael Keane instead. He's also on Marseille's shortlist, and Paris' agent has held several meetings with Marseille's sporting director. Valencia are looking for around €15 million in order to part with the player. And next up, we've got 2 players linked to Nice according to Telefoot. OGC Nice are considering making loan moves for midfield duo Mendy, who plays for Leicester, and Mario Lemina, who plays for Juventus. With regards to Lemina, Juventus have put him on the market, but still rather to sell him outright rather than loan. For former Nice captain Mendy, the situation is exactly the same, as Leicester only want to sell the player outright rather than a loan move. And there are also rumours today saying Lemina is a target for Arsenal. Next up, we go on to Aaron Moy, currently playing for Man City or owned by Man City. Last season was out on loan at Huddersfield Town, and apparently according to Sky sources, Huddersfield are close to agreeing a deal to sign the Man City man. And he was one of their key players last season in their promotion to the Premier League via the playoffs. And there wasn't the only player Huddersfield were in for today. Apparently Huddersfield have had a £7.2 million bid for Tom Ince rejected by Derby. And that is all that one says for now. Next up, we go on to Kelechi Iheanacho. According to Mirror, Crystal Palace will challenge West Ham to the signing of Iheanacho from Man City. The rumoured fee for him appears to be about £20 million or so. West Ham were very much front runners to get him, but in the last couple of weeks that really has gone fairly quiet. But to be fair, we're only 2 weeks into June, so West Ham have got a long time. At Palace, they could end up getting him, but again we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we go on to John Terry, linked to a fair amount of clubs lately. West Brom yesterday, day before that it was Aston Villa, but today linked to Villa's rivals Birmingham City. And the current Birmingham City manager Harry Redknapp has confirmed the club have made an offer to former England skipper John Terry. A few other places saying potentially could choose Birmingham, and to be fair, that's a big step in the right direction for that club. Next up, we go on to Andre Gomez, a very random one according to Tancredi Palmieri, so it could also be very unreliable. He said Manchester United have contacted Barcelona for Andre Gomez, according to today's edition of AS. It's safe to say a year after joining Barcelona from Valencia for a fairly big fee, it hasn't worked out too great for Andre Gomez in a Barcelona shirt just yet, but maybe he could be given a second chance, but potentially, if United offer a fair amount of money, they may cash in. And keeping in the theme with United, apparently Morata has been offered £200,000 per week to go to United, and that might be why he's been tempted to leave Real Madrid. Next up, we go on to Matteo Caldara, a youngster currently owned by Juventus, but out on loan at Atalanta. So to my understanding, back in January, you've actually purchased him from Atalanta for around £12 million or so, and loaned him straight back. But that loan deal was not until the end of this season, it's until the end of next season, so 2018 July, that's going to be a Juventus player. But Di Marzio is now saying Juventus are trying to get him now instead of next year. Atalanta don't want to let him go, so it could be very, very difficult, but I suppose if he's owned by Juventus, they could pay him a little bit more. And that right there is actually his team of the season card he's getting today, but it won't be a Juventus badge, it'll be for Atalanta. Next up, we move on to Gianluigi Donnarumma. It's a very controversial one. So 2 or 3 days ago, there was an interview with Donnarumma saying he wants to stay at Milan, sign a new contract, and settle in with his family. But now this is all official from AC Milan. They put on their website, they put on Twitter, and they released a statement saying it. So Milan have confirmed Donnarumma will not sign a new contract with the club. And his deal runs out in just 1 year's time. So next season, if he stays, he'll be a free agent in a year's time. He's getting so much abuse on social media. We've also got to take into consideration his agent. His agent is currently Mino Raiola. And it does seem with Raiola, he does try and get the best deal for his client, but is it great for football terms? Probably not. The Milan CEO had a meeting with Raiola today. They could not come to an agreement over an extended contract for Gianluigi Donnarumma. He was offered £80,000 per week, and for an 18-year-old, that's got to be near a record. And you can understand why Milan and their fans are very angry at Donnarumma, because they showed faith in him at just 16 years old starting games in the league. They offered him a very, very good contract for his age, but apparently it doesn't really mean anything. And by the way, this 90 card right here is his official team this season coming out today, but that picture isn't the real one. The proper one is very strange because it's him kissing the Milan badge. That probably won't go down too well for Milan fans, and where will he go? We'll have to wait and see, because you're assuming at this point they're going to sell him. They would lose out on so much money if they didn't, and Milan are also offering a very good project, but Donnarumma, he's not having any of it. And where he goes now, we'll have to wait and see. Will he go to Juventus to replace Buffon, who apparently is retiring in a year's time after the World Cup? Will he go to PSG, or will he come to the Premier League? Or maybe even Real Madrid? We'll have to wait and see. Next up, we go on to a player that this time has apparently agreed to stay at a club, Emre Can. Liverpool are ready to offer Emre Can a new big money deal to fend off advances from Italian giants Juventus. The German midfielder is said to be offered £100,000 per week until 2021, and like Donnarumma, his deal ends next year. Next up, we go on to Steven Nzonzi, a very short one according to Sky, but Sevilla are asking Juventus to pay £35 million for the ex-Stoke and Blackburn midfielder, and potentially it could be going after Nzonzi after not being able to get Emre Can. And they were also heavily linked to getting Tolisso, who went to Bayern eventually, so obviously that was off the cards as well. And next up, we go on to Mbappe, and I mentioned previously how him and his parents, and also his advisors, were having a meeting with Monaco and the president, and that took place yesterday. And right now, of course, we won't know anything about it, because technically, there's probably about 4 or 5 people in that room. Real Madrid are really looking to get him though. It'd be a world record transfer fee, and a lot of it would be funded by the sale of Morata to Manchester United. Next up, we move on to Lukaku. It's about him and Chelsea. And it's actually the story I was mentioning when I was talking about Bakayoko at the start of the video. So apparently, according to Sky Italia today, also Damasio, Antonio Conte's relationship with Chelsea is close to breaking point because he's unhappy with the lack of new signings. He wants Lukaku at all costs, but Chelsea and the board are not currently willing to spend the €90 million to do so. He's already told Diego Costa apparently he's on his plans for next season. Lukaku is actually going to get done? I'm not too sure at this rate. And they believe he's now on the verge of leaving the club after just 1 season in charge, and that season he won the Premier League. And apparently that's the exact same reason he left Juventus before, because no backing from the board. So guys, let me know down below in the comments, do you think Conte will stay, or do you think he'll go? The final one today is a very short one, a very brief one. Marco Verratti to Barca, and apparently according to the front page of Sport today, says Verratti has said yes to a move to Barcelona. The rumoured fee again is £88 million. He's told PSG he wants to leave, but they don't really want to sell him. But I imagine the rumours for that one could last a fair amount of time, guys. So that is going to be the end of this video. So as always, if you enjoyed it, show support by leaving a like rating. That'd be absolutely awesome. Remember, 1,000 likes to target for today's video. If you're new to my channel, make sure to click that subscribe button for daily FIFA content and press the button next to it for notifications. If you missed my previous video, it'll be down below in the description box. And today's question today is, what game are you most looking forward to this year? So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.